Hello there. Welcome to the Irresistible Events Podcast. My name is Ana Andrea, the Irresistible Experience Creator. I will be your host and guide through this amazing experience. We're going to dive deep in this season and the next into what makes an event an irresistible experience, and how we can host events and produce experiences that are magical, exciting, fun, and obviously make us a lot of dough. We're going to explore and go deep into the 5 stages and my formula. I'm not going to give it all away right now because I want you to pay attention and enjoy the journey. And as well, I'm going to bring in event hosts, event producers, event coordinators, and we will talk about all the nitty and gritty, all the things that happen when shit hits the fan, and what we do to be cool, calm, and collected so that everybody enjoys the experience and never finds out what happened behind the scenes. I will open the curtain and take you backstage so that you know what it really takes to be an irresistible experience creator. Let's get started. Today, we're diving into the very first stage of making your event absolutely irresistible, the design it stage. This is where we lay down the blueprint for everything that comes next. Now, you're wondering, why are we starting at the beginning if the topic of the podcast today is why your event isn't selling and how to fix it before it flops? Well, I hate to be a broken record, and because I know you've heard this before, but we have to start at the beginning, at the foundation. Let's get real. If your last event looked gorgeous, had decent speakers, but still didn't sell your offer, this episode is going to hurt a little. But it'll also free you. Because the truth is, most events fail before anyone even registers, before anyone even buys a ticket during the design it phase. Not because you didn't promote it enough, not because you didn't manifest hard enough, but because the experience wasn't engineered to sell. So, let's fix that. If you don't know who I am, welcome. If this is your first time in my podcast, welcome. If you already know who I am and you're excited that I'm finally putting up an episode, welcome back. I'm Ana Andrea, the Irresistible Experience Creator. I've been producing and hosting events since 2008. I know, a long time ago. Now, I am also known as a virtual event producer, specifically for summits. But here's the thing. I have been producing in-person events since 2008, and I have an event planning degree from Universidad de Palermo. So I know a thing or two for both types of events. So we're going to dive deep in the next season on how we can create irresistible experiences. Now, this topic is very near and dear to my heart because I see a lot of events fail because they're not designed around what the audience needs, and you're missing what your audience is going to feel as well. I've seen endless events and I've attended events in person and online that honestly might have looked polished, some of them, but they just didn't have that zazazoo. If you know, you know. They need to be re-examined and redesigned because they left so many little details off the table because they were rushing to host the event, because they heard or they've done events and sold a lot, but the market has changed. It is 2025. It is not 2020. It's been 5 years since the pandemic and things have changed. The market has changed. The audience has changed. We all have evolved and we all went through a collective trauma. So how we design events now makes even more sense to go back to the beginning and the drawing board and change what we want to experience. People are tired. When I tell you they're tired, they are tired. And I'm going to include myself. We are tired. We don't want rah-rah events. We're tired of the packed speaker after speaker without any breaks, without any connection spaces, having to spend all night outside of the venue trying to connect with attendees because there was no space inside of the event to do so. We are tired of flying and investing so much money in in-person events that did not bring any ROI, or even worse, any ROE, any return on experience. When we feel as an audience, I'm going to put myself on the shoes of the audience for a minute. When we make them feel depleted, tired, exhausted. I know that depleted and exhausted are synonyms, okay? Okay, don't come at me. But like when you feel like that event was just a drag, when you have to wake up super early and you're dragging your feet to get into the shower and go into the venue, or when you are online and you receive that email, you're like, not gonna join today. I am done with this, people. They make these types of events make the audience feel icky. And what happens? They're never going to come back, because we are going to be very selective from now on. The industry and the market, this is what's going on, okay? I'm going to tell you the truth before we dive into the design it stage, where I'm going to help you design a summit, a virtual event, an in-person workshop, an in-person conference, a retreat, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what type of event it is. We'll talk about that in another episode, so that it sells. And it starts from the beginning, from the structure. All right. So here are the 3 pillars. Wait, I know I went on a tangent and then I didn't close the loop. I'm going to close it right now. What's going on in the market is that we're being very, as attendees, as myself, we're being very selective about the time we spend and the money we invest with event. When it's a free event, we are investing our time. So is this event enough for me to invest my time? We think about those things. So I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the attendee. And I want you to think about what you like about events and about how the industry is moving forward. So the event industry hasn't had innovation in decades until we were forced to during the pandemic. Right now, there's going to be another evolution because, as I call them, my dear colleague gray hairs, they're retiring and they are tired and, they don't want to do events anymore. And I get it, because producing events is a lot of work. Hear me out. When you host irresistible experiences, it won't feel like a lot. Even though you have over 200 tasks, yeah, we do, sometimes even more. We're going to create irresistible experience that makes us feel energized, excited, happy, and makes us a lot of money, so that we are excited to host them and our attendees are excited to come back for next year. What's happening in the industry is that people are being very selective, and also smaller events. That's where we're all going. Smaller, no more than 200 people. I think 200 is pushing it, in my opinion, are the events that are going to be extremely successful. If you want to create events like Tony Robbins and have like an arena of events, I mean, you can, but hear me out. Ask everybody you know. I have done this poll myself, and you're going to realize the same conclusion I came to, which is people go to events to connect and build community. So community events are what's in, and big arena events is out. If you haven't noticed, big events are canceling. They're not doing them again. Like Funnel Hacking Live has decided to not do it again. Live the Dream was canceled years ago, actually, before the pandemic, which was a big mistake, but that's another story. I digress. But smaller, intimate, exclusive events are what's in. I'm not saying the big conferences are going to go out of style forever, or they're not going to work. So like, for example, the high level summit, the level up summit, every year they've expanded it to make it a little bit bigger, and I think that that still works. But for you, if you're a solopreneur, if you're a coach that has a community, less is more, because your audience wants to connect with other people inside of the community and with you. So let's get started with the teaching before I keep ranting about the industry. If you want me to tell you what are the trends and all that stuff, I could do an episode about this, because I am not just a virtual summit host and producer, and I just didn't just come to the industry because I decided to do an event and then I learned about events. Like I said at the beginning, I have a degree, I have the education, and I am connected with the event community, the event producers, the event planners in the in-person industry, and I can tell you what the trends are. So let's dive deep into the design it stage. So my formula has 5 stages: design it, build it, fill it, produce it, and profit. You see how profit is the last one? It's because we're going to build a foundation in the rock. The wise man builds his house on the rock, not on the sand. And that's what's happening with a lot of events that flop. They are built on sand. So let's be the wise man, and let's start with the 3 pillars of the design it stage. In the design it stage, pillar number 1, we're going to set the vision like a VIP experience. If your event were a resort, would your audience want to book a room or walk out the lobby confused? If your event was a fantasy book and it doesn't have romance in it, will they still be hooked? I know, I threw that in for my book talk girlies because I'm one of you guys. We'll talk about that later. But anyways, again, I digress. You're going to think about the vision of what you want to create. Not just what you're teaching, not the content, but how does it feel to walk into that venue? How does it feel to click on that tech online venue? How does it feel to click on that Zoom link or that special website that was created or that Hey Summit account? Does it feel like they want to participate, or is it repelling? Ask yourself, what do I want them to become by the end of this event? The vision is what's going to pull you towards this feeling. Now, this is also part of the event promise. We need to promise the audience something. And I know the FTC says that we cannot guarantee or promise anything, blah, blah, blah. I do not. Let me do a disclaimer right now that I remember. I know we're talking about selling and making money, so let me tell you and be the bearer of bad news that I cannot guarantee that you're going to make money with your event. I cannot guarantee that you're going to sell tickets for your event. I cannot guarantee that this is going to be the best thing ever. But I can guarantee that if you put in the work and you create your signature event and you do it more than once, listen to me, you cannot just do a one-hit wonder. You do it more than once and you create an experience that is irresistible, you're going to get great results. Now, again, the results vary depending on everything. So many variables. All right, so let's continue. So you're going to define the transformation. How do you want them to feel at the end of the event, during the event, before the event, before the event, when they see the registration funnel and they look at the event, when they listen to the content that you're creating? How do you want them to feel? What is the transformation they're going to get? And how is this going to be of service to them? All right. We're going to set the vision. We're going to also set the goals. If there's no goals, we don't know where the heck we're going, right? Right. So we want to make sure that we know what our goals for the event are. Since I've been in the event industry for a long time, let me tell you that most events are negative ROI. I told you I was going to be the bearer of bad news. But hear me out. The event is not the end. The event is the means to the end. The end is getting people in your program, getting people into your membership. A lot of events in the Fortune 500 business, corporate are negative ROI because what they want, their goal is to create brand awareness. That could be one of your goals. Create brand awareness. If people don't know about me, how do I make them know about me? Well, you launch a brand awareness event. If your goal is to build your email list, if you want to make money with the event, you have to be clear about the goals. You need to know what your goals are. There are different types of goals. Experience, I want them to get to know me, like me, and trust me. I want them to buy from me. I want them to come in and join my community, join my list, etc., etc. Define your goals, because if not, what's going to happen is that this is not going to be a Cabana Club experience. It's going to be a ratchet joint at the beach. All right? We want to create a transformation that is life-changing, a Cabana Club experience. And if we don't know where we're going, my darling, I'm sorry to tell you, but it's going to fail. So define the vision, define the goals. We gotta know where we're going and what transformation we want to create so that we can create an event promise. Pillar number 2. You're going to align the event to the right buyer. All right. So in your audience, this is a little bit of a marketing 101. We have a target audience, right? But in that audience, we have tiny little audiences inside of our big audience. I want you to identify and be very clear about this. Who are you designing this event for? Is this for beginners? Is this for intermediate? Is this for advanced? I'm going to tell you a little secret. If you want your event to be successful in 2026 and beyond, you got to create an event for the advanced. We are tired of going to events that are just for newbies. All right? There's a space and a time for everybody. And I think that, no, I don't think. I know that if you create an event for intermediate and advanced, and those are your buyers, you're going to get higher conversions because they're already prepared, they already know what they want, and they are ready to buy from you. You're going to identify the right buyer, and you're going to define who you want in your event. Make sure that you have this clear, because this is going to help you with the marketing of the event, with the creating the content, with the ads, and with having the right people at the room and attracting the right people. For example, I'm going to give you an example. There's an event that I haven't gone to, but I really want to go to, that's called the Power Table. Shout out to my girl Taylor. She's hosting this event, and she's been hosting it in Florida. And it's for women who are already established. They already have a business. It's not for newbies. It can be, newbies can go, but it's tailored for more advanced. So I'm going to give you an example of the right buyer in this case. This is for the woman who already knows she's powerful. She just hasn't built her platform yet, for example. In this case, in this particular event, this is for the woman who already knows she's powerful, who's already building a business, who all she needs is a space at the table. All right? And you got to remember this. You don't need to please everyone. You need to obsess over your ideal buyer's emotional journey and your ideal buyer's mindset, because this is going to be the key of how we create an event that sells. And then pillar number 3, the offer and the design. So we're going to go all the way to the profit stage for a few minutes. and we're going to create the offer. You're going to reverse engineer the experience based on the next step you want them to take. So, for example, if the goal is to sell a mastermind, the event must feel intimate, luxurious, and elevated. And it must be intimate as well. Not just feel intimate, but be intimate. You got to build the emotional bridge between the event experience and the offer. The offer is the next logical step after the event. If it doesn't feel like that, then you're not creating the right event. If your offer feels like a bait and switch at the end, you didn't design the event. You just planned it. So sorry to tell you. So make sure you know what your offer is so that you can reverse engineer the design. Now, I cannot go through the whole event planning process in just one podcast, but I can tell you where you can get my Create Irresistible Virtual Events Planner, which essentially can help you plan any event. The only difference is that technology is the venue in the case of the virtual events. Now, if you want to plan an in-person event, I have a planner that I designed that's in Amazon, and it's called Create Irresistible Retreats, where all of the in-person logistics is there. So you could go to Amazon and you can get both planners. You could get the physical one for retreats, or you could get the digital one for virtual events, and that is at irresistiblevirtualevents.com. And then you can upgrade for the game plan. And then you can upgrade to the game plan so that you go through the modules with me and I will help you plan that event. Now, I have a checklist as well that you can get for absolutely for free. All you have to do is go to anaandrea.com/checklist. Anna with 2 N's and Andrea as Andrea.com. That's for irresistible virtual events. I do not have a checklist for in-person events yet, but if you want it, let me know and I will create it. Now, here's the thing. I need you to think about what I just broke down in the 3 pillars, and I want you to avoid these mistakes when you're creating an event that sells. You're going to avoid designing an event based on what's trending versus what actually sells. And I'll give you an example right now. It just happened. I'm recording this November 2025. In October 2025, Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, and I'm going to call you guys out because I don't care. I'm going to call you guys out because you have no business in creating an AI summit. You have no business on creating an AI summit. You brought your AI friends and nobody knows who the heck these people are. I'm sorry, Tony and Dean. I'm in the AI world as well, and I had no idea who these people are. And plus, I just didn't want to learn AI from you. Let's be serious for a minute. Dean and Tony, your thing is self-development and info products. Stick with it. You created an event based on what's trending right now, and honestly, none of my friends attended. And we are your ideal clients. And we did not attend because you did not stay on your lane. So do not make the mistake Tony and Dean made. Because yeah, they probably sold because they ran so many ads. I was tired of the freaking ads. And I know that they still got a lot of newbies excited for the event and they still made a lot of money for sure. But hear me out. They missed the mark because they are trying to create events on what's trending instead of focusing on what they really do every day. And that is a mistake because we need self-development more than ever. Not AI. AI, we do need it and everybody's using it and I'm using it, but hear me out. Tony and Dean, if you ever listen to this or somebody that works with Tony and Dean, please tell them to stay in their lane. I want a self-development event. I want to know why things happen for me and not to me. Yes, that's a line from Tony Robbins. I heard it in the I'm Not Your Guru Netflix documentary. Listen, stay in your lane, and you as well. I'm telling you. Design an event based on you and what you sell and your expertise. And do not skip the experience and just focus on the logistics. All right? That's another mistake you need to avoid. You cannot skip the experience and focus on the logistics only. You need to think about how your audience is going to feel at every step of the way. Be intentional about this. Also, another mistake you need to avoid, targeting too broad of an audience. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be specific and niched as much as possible, and let me tell you, that event is going to sell out. Another mistake you need to avoid, choosing themes that don't emotionally connect. Again, with the Tony and Dean thing. I don't want to listen to AI from you guys. I don't care if you brought your friends. Like, seriously, I don't know who they are. Create a theme that emotionally connects with your audience. And this goes to you, obviously, too. I'm not just ranting about Tony and Dean here. I am drilling into your head that you need to choose themes that emotionally connect with your audience and make them feel things. Because if you don't, then you're going to have that disconnect and it's not going to be in alignment. And you know what? It's not going to sell like you wanted it to sell. And the other mistake, and this is the last one, designing an info dump event instead of going for transformation. You know what I'm talking about. Those summits that have 40 speakers and only 3 days to watch all of the sessions, and they want to overwhelm you, so you buy the $100 offer. That doesn't work anymore. That used to work in 2020, 2021, even 2022, but not beyond 2026 and 2025. The audience is fed up, and I've done the polls. I've asked my audience if they even buy upsells, and they don't, because they feel like they are being coerced to buy. So create an offer that helps your audience, that gives them implementation steps, that actually gets them to go deeper, and do not overwhelm the audience. If your audience walks away overwhelmed or confused or depleted, they're not buying. They're checking out. So, are you feeling called out? Good. That means you're ready to step into the luxury level event host that you were born to be. And if you want help mapping this all out in detail, you can grab my 90-day Create Irresistible Virtual Events Planner or my 90-day Create Irresistible Retreats Planner in Amazon. It's your step-by-step roadmap to designing an event that actually converts. And listen, you don't have to guess your way through this. I got you. If you have questions, add in comments, let me know what you want me to talk about. For the next episode, I will go deeper into the design it stage and talk logistics and the difference between virtual events and in-person events and what we need to build for events to be successful and obviously irresistible. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will see you in the next one. God bless you. Bye-bye.